in Bawku.
Let's be very careful who we choose to talk for in Bawku. Maybe if you had come and we start, maybe this statement would not have been made. And I'm not choosing to speak for only Kusasis. That last statement you made, that we should be careful who we speak for.
We have details as the MP calls on Parliament to investigate the killings.
I call on Parliament to look into the military brutalities and their operational style in Bawku. I have petitioned the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to address these specific egregious human rights violations.
Plus details of the attempts to blow up a bridge in the first time in the history of the Bawku conflict with an improvised explosive device, as the Defense Minister warned of the infiltration of terrorists. The top story is always brought to you by Vodafone. Tonight, the killings in Ghana's most volatile constituency, Bawku, in the Upper East region, may have abated for now, but the conflict is dividing Parliament. Today, MP for the area, Mahama Yarega, clashed with the Defense Minister, Dominic Nitiwul, over the recent killings in Bawku. Mahama Yarega was unhappy that the Defense Minister had suggested he had shown little commitment to resolving the conflict in the area. We'll hear the exchanges between the two men shortly, but tonight there is a major revelation in the conflict that has been raging in that part of the country for years now. We are learning that there has been an attempt to blow up a bridge with an improvised explosive device. The first time this is happening in the history of this decades-long conflict. First, I want you to listen to the statement made on the floor of the House by Mahama Yarega himself, asking Parliament to investigate the ongoing conflict and the recent killings.
However, I call on Parliament to look into the military brutalities and their operational style in Bawku. I have petitioned the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to address these specific egregious human rights violations occasioned by these cold-blooded executions by the soldiers of the 10 citizens of Bawku. Within military regulations, I expect the command to take the appropriate remedial action. We should be a community governed by laws and not the might of guns. I call on all, including the youth on both sides of the conflict, to respect the sanctity of lives in Bawku. I urge the youth to appreciate that the military was brought in to protect lives and property in Bawku. The military must also realize that they are dealing with human lives who they have a duty, first and foremost, to protect, even in very trying circumstances.
Well, commenting on the statement, ranking member of the Defense and Interior Committee, James Sagaga, argued that the conflict in Bawku should be treated as a national security issue, while the Deputy Majority Leader, Afenyo Markin, warned against politicization.
It is not just a conflict between Pusazis and non-Pusis. It is a crisis which has escalated to the point where we need to treat the Bawku issue now as a national one and give it national attention. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I would appeal for calm once again in Bawku. I extend my deepest condolence to the victims in Bawku. And the maker of the statement made it clear. The victims are drawn from both sides of the conflict.
If Bawku is burning, can we build the schools? Can a doctor accept posting to Bawku? Can a nurse accept posting to Bawku? Or even if somebody is injured, would a nurse have the courage to treat the person, or a doctor have the courage to attend to the person? These are matters for our consideration. So, Mr. Speaker, this calls for our very reasonable approach to the problem, not to be very emotional, not to attempt to even do politics with it, and by extension attack the government. It is for us to fashion out what it takes to ensure peace in Bawku, since the maker of the statement has told us the source of the problem.
Well, for Mahama Yarega to solve this problem, Parliament must open its own probe into the recent killings there. The Defense Minister, however, Dominic Nitiwul, disagrees with that particular position. He explained that a parliamentary investigation will not be necessary because the police and the Shroud were both investigating the matter.
Soldiers have now been put in the middle of this conflict. Remember, the soldiers are human beings like us.
and they have not been put in the middle of this conflict. But, Mr. Speaker, there have been political will from the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government. So let not be said that there's not been political will. The then chieftaincy minister, the honorable member for Hunter West, went to Bawku and made the people of Bawku aware that as long as the Bawku Naba is attending the Regional House of Chiefs and the National House of Chiefs, we in government recognize him as the legitimate Bawku Naba. If we do not stop what is happening in Bawku now and now, we risk the situation where Ghana can be thrown under terrorist attacks. For the first time, Mr. Speaker, 3 days ago, improvised explosive device was used for the first time in this country to try to blow a bridge. Don't let us joke with Bawku.
Well, in Bawku, as we know, at least 6 people were killed in the last week, and which really has triggered this current issues as Parliament has now been invited to investigate. I want to take it to Parliament right now. Let's bring in my parliamentary correspondent, Kweku Asan, to join us. Kweku, but at some point in this briefing before Parliament today, it led to a rift and a very public clash between Mama Yerega and the Defense Minister. What happened?
Indeed, so Evans, all seemed to be well when that statement was delivered. We also heard from various contributions from the MPs who were in the House, until the Defense Minister said 2 things that seemed to have angered Mahama Yerega. First, he said he had invited Mahama Yerega to come over to discuss the conflict and other issues, and Mahama Yerega had not come. The second point that was made that seemed to have angered Mahama Yerega was the point that he was speaking in a way that favored only one ethnic group in the clash that we know is between the Kusasis and the Mampustis. So Mahama Yerega did not take kindly to this. He said, as MP for the area, he represents both interests, and at no point has he put the interest of one particular group ahead of the other. And so that particular comment that were made by Dominic Nitiwo angered him a lot, and he made that clear on the floor.
Let's be very careful who we choose to talk for in Bawku. I want to plead with you, Pope. Let's be very careful who we choose to talk for in Bawku. That's why, Honorable Ayerga, I told you, come to the office and let me sit with you with the military high command and let's discuss it. I told you before, 3 days ago, on Monday. Maybe if you had come and we start, maybe this statement would not have been made.
The Honorable Minister has made certain statements which are personal to me. First about he inviting me to join him on a mission to Bawku. And like he said, I was outside the country. He calls me. So we are going to Bawku. When was this? Mr. Speaker, this was more than 1 year after the people of Bawku had been killing one another. That was the first time he went to Bawku. It's on record. More than a year. Until the soldiers were complaining that you, the defense minister and the interior minister, had never visited them. And I brought the complaint to you. Now, you sit here and tell me that the soldiers and the police were complaining that you were never visiting them. You brought them to come, they are being exposed to death, and you, their commander, never stepped foot there to see them. Please, let's not talk personal here. I have sat down quietly and listened, not because I don't have responses. So, Speaker, why they kill the people? I'm pleading with you, go there. Go and see with your naked eyes. And I'm not choosing to speak for only Kusasis. That last statement you made, that we should be careful who we speak for. Please, I understand everything that you are saying there. I'm not speaking only for Kusasis. I'm speaking because people that ought not to have been killed were killed.
And Kweku, so did the House agree to investigate?
No, Mahama Yerega did not get as he wished. As we've been hearing from Dominic Nitiwo and other colleagues of his, this is a matter that is being investigated by the police and the military hierarchy. There's also a petition currently before Strike. And so Parliament cannot be properly constituted to look into those matters. And for that reason, the First Deputy Speaker, Joseph Oseku, should decline the request to order a parliamentary probe into this matter. But Mahama Yerega says he's going to use all avenues that are available to him to ensure that there's justice. The majority leader of Mensah also came in to say that maybe MPs themselves should organize and go there, or some group of eminent Ghanaians. But he also was not in support of the idea that Parliament should constitute some committee to probe the matter. So ultimately, the decision was that those two investigations that have now been commenced, first by police and then Shraj, should go on. If at the end of the day, Parliament would have to come in to review the reports of these institutions, then it can do so.
Thankfully, Mahama Yariga joins us on the line right now. Mr. Yariga, thank you for time here on Top Story.
Oh, thank you.
Great. I mean, you accept that the decision by the Speaker today was the right one. At least your own your petition before Shraj is active. The police is doing its own probe, and the military as well. And so there's no need for Parliament to step in. You accept that it's the right decision?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to Parliament to ask Parliament to step in. As you could see from just the debate in the House, it can easily get politically charged and aligned in terms of the work that we do in Parliament. And that was why I opted to go to the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, because I believe that they will be fair. You see, the police can investigate. I want to trust the police, but the police are in Bawku working with the military. A couple of months ago, there was a similar incident involving some police officers who went into a community called Sabungari, and there was an allegation that the police killed a gentleman in his house. They dragged him out of his house and killed him. And we pushed, the police said they were going to investigate. They invited the family members to come and give statements. Nothing happened. So I haven't gone to the police to investigate, even though when I visited the community, they told me that the police had invited them to come and present their statements. I believe that that will be useful. The records of whatever the people will tell them can be used by Shraj when they get on the ground. So I'm happy that the police are investigating. I expect the military to use its own internal process to find out exactly what happened. Because I know that they have internal protocols, and so if there's an allegation that an officer or a soldier has violated any of those protocols, they will investigate. So
did the defense minister confirm today that that is happening? The internal investigation is happening?
Exactly. Well, I mean, I think so. I think he did indicate that, you know, the military will also look into it.
As it stands now, the minister said something towards in this speech today about the use of an improvised explosive device and attempt to blow a bridge. Is something you're aware of?
Yeah, I've been talking to the military command. Trust me, I'm in touch with them, you know, daily. And yesterday, yes. No, it wasn't yesterday. It was a day before yesterday.
It says
I
3 days ago.
I met the Northern Command in Tamale, and they did mention this explosion thing to me. I saw the pictures of what they claim were attempts to blow a bridge. I really don't know why anybody would blow the bridge, but they told me that the youth in that area wanted to blow the bridge because that is the bridge that they use to cross with the armor cars to come and harass them. So I said, well, I will investigate and get back to you. But that, you know, matter was brought to my attention, and I'm looking for it.
But that will be a significant escalation. I mean, using explosives now, that then changes the entire game.
That's why I said that I will look into it. I don't know if that is exactly what happened or not, but that is what they say. And I don't know if that was done by the youth or not. So I will not say what I don't know. But if that is true, I mean, that would be most unfortunate. And that is something that we should really be careful about. But that is exactly why I am doing what I am doing. I am doing what I'm doing so that the youth will know that if they feel unjustly treated, there is a remedy. They don't need to take the law into their own hands. That is what is so important. People must appreciate. They are not doing this for fun. I'm doing it to prevent them from also taking the law into their own hands and making the military a target. Because not all the soldiers who came and did what they did. A few soldiers may have come and done the wrong thing. It doesn't mean that you should turn against all soldiers. But then, if they feel that nobody is going to be held accountable for what has happened, then you are easily pushing them to do what they ought not to do. So let's appreciate the value of fighting for accountability, even if soldiers are involved, because it produces a bigger public good.
I mean, and another issue that came up on the floor is this problem with the politicization or the political divide that plays out in this conflict. That has been a long-standing issue. Can it be resolved, and how?
I didn't want to politicize anything. I presented what I believe was a very balanced view of the matter. If you follow the debate, you will see that both the majority leader and deputy majority leader copiously refer to my statement in a way that made themselves confirm that I had done whatever it took to be fair and balanced in the statement. I don't want to politicize the situation. I just want us to have peace in Bawku. I appreciate the presence of the soldiers there. We want them there. We want more of them. We will cooperate with them. But then, if there are excesses, we should hold those who are involved in those excesses accountable so that they don't damage the reputation of the entire military in the face of the citizens of Bawku, so that they can get the cooperation of the people. I want to take the politics out of it.
Let me ask you, because you've been there for so long, what do you think could potentially solve this age-old conflict? What will be your prescription?
Well, I mean, like the defense minister said, it's mostly pure criminality. And so we need to look out for the criminals and deal with them. If somebody crosses to another area and kills a human being, it's pure murder. Let's look for him or her as the murderer, prosecute the person, and I'm sure others will refrain from doing that. But if we misrepresent it as a chieftaincy matter, and then people commit crimes, and we ignore the crimes, then people will continue to do it. So for me, when we say political commitment, it is political commitment to law enforcement. If the law says Mr. A is a chief, and Mr. B disputes it violently in violation of the law, political commitment means that you, the law enforcer, must take on B, who is disputing it, but disputing it violently against the law. That's where the issue of political commitment comes. At the same time, if A, in defending his title as chief, does so in violation of the law, you should equally hold that person accountable. So political commitment means that standing in the middle and making sure that none of the parties does the wrong thing and gets away with it. And that if they have an issue, they should go to the proper forum to go and deal with that issue. That is political commitment.
Mama Erica, I'm grateful that you joined us.
Thank you.
I want to bring in now Dean of the Ghana Armed Forces Commandant Staff College, Professor Vladimir Chudan. So, hello, Prof. Hello, Prof.
Hello.
Prof, thanks for joining me. I mean, we are talking on a night. The defense minister confirms that an attempt was made to blow up a bridge with an improvised explosive device.
Yes.
The MP for the area just confirmed that the military brief to him was that the attempt was done to blow up a particular bridge that the perpetrators believed the military used in transporting and movement of equipment. How significant escalation is this?
It's very significant and it's very unfortunate. Conflict mutates, and then the handling of the conflict, if it's not proper, would create some kind of resilience in the perpetrators. they would want to confront the military. As I said, my fear is if they are not going to import even terrorists to aid them in some of the things they do. You don't have to be educated to even produce an IED. You know, you just sit on the computer and you can get what ingredients you have to put together to be able to make a bomb. So it could be some local miscreants who are daring the military or any other. You know, so this is very significant. It looks as though the criminals over there are becoming more hardened and they are trying to emulate all that they know, that they read about the terrorist activities around them. So this is very significant. We need to be very careful about it.
In this case, it was foiled. I mean, the military found the explosive device, and of course, nobody has been apprehended yet. It begs the question: if this was a plot and has now been foiled, what else is happening that may actually become a real existential threat? Considering that the defense minister again said in Parliament today that the main fear is the terrorist activity just across the border.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. This is what we are all fearing. The point is this, that they are now practicing all that we know about terrorism. It's a terrorist act, trying to blow a bridge. It's a real terrorist act. They can go beyond that to blow a mosque, to blow all in an attempt to get attention, all in an attempt to just derail the peace process. You know, they want visibility. They want to be heard. They want their ego to come up. They will attack barracks, military barracks. They will attack police barracks, and to put fear in the people around, to tell them that, look, your police even are able to attack them, injure them, and kill some of them. So these are terrorist ploys. And therefore, what we need is more intelligence. More intelligence. The transactional frontal approach to terrorism does not work because you won't see them. So intelligence gathering, and then we'll get them. Intelligence gathering is the most important thing now within the Bawku area, which is like a war zone now. You know.
I was going to ask you, should this inform a change in strategy? You mentioned intelligence, but I bet that alone, in the wake of what we're now learning, may not be enough. In terms of the national strategy and the attention to deal with this, should this inform a strategy that then, you know, escalates the resources that we are devoting to Bawku?
Right. Obviously, the security agencies know how to map out strategies for a certain specific mission. For example, what happened a few weeks back had its own special mission accomplished. And then they will do a review. So if there are any things that they will have to add or subtract, they know what to do. But the main thing is that intelligence gathering is constant. It's very, very constant. Because, look, this is not a frontal attack as a transactional kind of doctrinal approach. Other than that, Boko Haram would have been defeated with Nigeria having more than 200,000 men and women in the military, but unable to defeat a force of about only 4,000. So we don't have to underrate the strength of a small force of even 10 people who are terrorists. Don't underrate them. Intelligence gathering, and you get them one by one. So yes, strategies may change, and strategies often change with every minute when we are dealing with terrorists. Every second. Even information you have gotten today may be obsolete because they will change their form and manner of operation.
Prof, I'm grateful that you joined us. Dean of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Professor Vladimir Nchudanso, talking to us on the day we got confirmation that there actually have been call it a terrorist attempt to blow up a bridge in Bawku using an improvised explosive device. The first time in the history of that particular conflict. The defense minister himself confirming that. I want to bring in the chairman of the Regional Security Council, Stephen Yakubu, joins us on the telephone line right now. Hello, Mr. Yakubu. Thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for your time on Top Story, sir.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
I know this week and last week you've been very busy with the Security Council meetings. You moved your men there to the ground. What's the report tonight? Is it yielding any result?
Well, yes. Bawku, every step that we take, We hope that it yields results. And we always know that if probably we didn't do that, then things would be worse. So we live by the day about Bawku and its security situation.
I wonder if anybody has been arrested since the last killings that we saw.
So far as I know, no one has been arrested. But the military intelligence and also the police are working very hard to arrest people when they needed to be arrested. But what we need to understand is that sometimes it's very difficult to arrest people because if individual does something and runs into their own tribal areas, it's very difficult for them to give such a person up. So we are depending on intelligence and a lot of other things to be able to apprehend people.
But you are the regional security chair. Let me ask you, have you been briefed about the use of this improvised explosive device that was used in an attempt to blow up a bridge?
Well, this is not the first time that such an improvised thing has been used. At some point last year, an attempt was made to blow up, I think, a building. So, as we all know, Bawku is very fluid, and people use all manner of things to be able to do things against the other. And as we all know, very powerful weapons are there, which are not supposed to be handled by civilians, but they are being handled by civilians. So what we have been doing is to try to make sure that all these things don't get to Bawku. And we've been trying very, very hard. Sometimes we get intelligence even all the way from Accra or Kumasi. And we have been able to see such things a number of times in the region.
Thank you very much. Stephen Yakubu is the Upper East Regional Minister talking to us tonight about the situation there in Bawku. News 19 in a minute.